Welcome back to the Invictus stream! My name, as always, is Harlan Guthrie, and I am here with my addicted friend, Chris. My accusatory friend, I guess, Justin.
What are you talking about? Huh? What do you mean accusatory?
And my insatiable friend, Mycl.
I don't know how to do that one.
And we are here with Game 1. We are here with Game 1, Part 10, the finale of our Call of Cthulhu game! Thank you so much for being here with us from Game 1 to Game 10. It has been such a pleasure week after week going through this with you. Honestly, we are so grateful to have such a fantastic community and viewers like you guys, and I just want to do a really quick heartfelt thank you to you guys because you make it so fun. And I'm doing that first before I jump into the 18 plus because we haven't sworn yet. So thank you. And now I'll mention this is of course an 18 plus show, as all of our shows are, because we like saying bad words. Let's go through each of our favorites. Chris, what's your favorite?
Probably twatcicle.
Justin?
Kumquat.
Mycl?
I'm a fan of my new favorite, Lazy Shart Waffle.
Lazy Shart Waffle?
Yes, sir.
I don't know why, but that just makes me hungry. You know what? That's what we do here. We are an 18 plus show, so we're going to swear, we're going to talk about some horrible things, and you are going to see some people die tonight. So if you feel like you are not mature enough for that, go ahead and close the window, but don't you dare close that window until you like our video. If you're watching right now, please go ahead and like our video on YouTube. It makes us feel saucy. It makes us want to make more. Look at us, guys. It makes us want to make more content. Maybe branching out to other games and stuff like that, which we'll be doing very soon. It makes us feel like real boys. So please go ahead and like our videos, as well as follow us on Twitter, and go ahead and, most importantly, join our Facebook group. Please join our Facebook group. That's where all the cool people are at. That's like, that's like hanging out at the coffee shop in Friends. That's the coffee shop, guys. That's Central Perk. Or the Bronze in Buffy, which is a nerdier reference, but I feel a more appropriate reference because it's more like the Bronze in the sense that we have cool music there. Phil Collins is there right now. So please go ahead and join our Facebook group and interact with those guys. We have a post up right now that says, like this post for XP. Go ahead and like it and start the comment train a rolling, choo-choo. We want to hear your thoughts throughout the game. We want to hear the jokes you have, predictions of death, and all that awesome stuff. Quick note, right after this game is done, we are going to close this video and launch another one with a question and answer period for any questions you might have about this campaign and the characters and any of that kind of stuff. So depending on when this time ends, it'll start up right after, and we'll be posting on the Facebook group. So please join our Facebook group if you haven't, and talk to all those really cool people, because Evan Jones just said that your Shart Waffle made him hungry. So clearly we're doing something right, if I do say so myself. So go ahead and join that, gents and ladies. We're going to really quickly roll through the stuff because we have a lot of stuff to go through today. So we're going to mention the MVP. Every week we do a most valuable post. Who posted the most valuable content, which created a sense of community in that Facebook group. And this week we award it to our friend Yannick for his controversial post about the lightsabers in the new Star Wars, which I myself had a heated opinion on, but you know what? Hey, all's fair in love and geekdom. So I think it's cool. It had a lot of comments, and we all clearly cared about it. So Yannick, well done. You win most valuable post. I am also proud to announce that we have the weekly Enigma winners. Now, you might have noticed, there was no Enigma posted this week. Well, there wasn't. And the reason we did that is because, well, at this point in the story, it's not going to push the investigators forward too much. However, I do want to do a fantastic shout-out to our very own Mike, who did create an Enigma, but I forgot to post it. However, I realized that we didn't need to, because rather than do the typical Enigma rewards, we are going to reward the 4 people who submitted the most answers during the entire 10-week span. You guys were a constant motivation for us to make bigger and better enigmas. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of people submitted, but these guys and gal submitted almost every single time, and these 4 submitted 8 times out of the possible 9 enigmas. So we are going to award 5 XP each to the people who came back every time and challenged us to make bigger and better. Bob Lyle, Aisha Lyle, Yannick Goosens, and Chris Lawrence. Well done, guys. That's right. You guys, again, you were there. It was always a pleasure to have discussions in the email box and try to get you guys thinking about better stuff. And so thank you guys specifically, everyone who submitted, of course, but thank you guys for being there and doing it every week, because, again, it made it really worthwhile. And, hey, it helped these investigators solve the mystery that they're now going to die from. So well done on that, too. I want to quickly remind everyone to vote on their favorite poem line. Tonight's piece of poem is going to be featured in the game, and we really want it in there. So go ahead and vote real quick, because I'm going to throw it off to Justin while you vote to do the Twitter shout-out of the week. So, Justin, take us to the Twitter shout-out of the week, 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 of the week.
All right. Well, this may seem like a cop-out, but I realized that in this entire 10-week campaign, we did not do a single shout-out to Chaosium themselves, the actual creators of Call of Cthulhu. So I would like to say thank you to Chaosium for giving us this wonderful opportunity to play your... And you are our Cthulhu shout-out of the week. Cheers.
Well done, Justin. Yes, Chaos offices, but either way, they make great products, and this is a fantastic game, so thank you to them. Good shout-out, Justin, and I'm surprised we didn't shout-out Chaosium as well. So, I hope you all have voted on your favorite line of poetry, for I am going to refresh the page at this moment and read the winner with a lovely drumroll sound effect. The winner goes to... Who triggered the clap too early? Who triggered the clap? I haven't even read... Oh. Aisha Lyle, you win! The final stanza was, again, every week you guys put some excellent stuff in. Evan and Bob, I think you guys submitted every single week. Very well done. But I got to hand to Aisha this week. I voted for as well. It was fantastic. It added a good sense of sort of a fini to the little story that we are crafting, and it was very well written. So well done, Aisha. You win the experience points that are tied into that. So thank you guys so much for playing along with us this entire time. It has been a blast reading your comments, reading your advice, looking over the Excel spreadsheet that Chris and I think Hans and maybe Bob a little bit put together in the comments about all the kind of pieces of information being gathered and collecting all the materials. Thank you guys so much for making this such a fun experience. And after this video, we're going to be talking about any stuff like that. If you have questions and concerns or comments or whatever, that's where we're going to be doing that. But I do want to say a heartfelt thank you. We all want to say a heartfelt thank you, right, guys?
Thank you.
So thank you. And without further ado, unless I'm missing something totally major and glaring.
I don't know.
Must be. Like, we've only been 11 minutes. It usually takes us at least 15 or so.
I know. I blew through it because we got a lot to go through. So let's do this.
I know it's a little bit self-congratulatory, but did anything special happen with you this week, sir?
Me?
Didn't you get nominated for something?
Me?
Yeah.
Posted something about love.
Elected Prime Minister.
My 2-year wedding anniversary, you mean? Yes. Is that what you're talking about? Yes, I had my wedding anniversary this on Monday, which is part of the reason why I had a very hectic weekend. The story is going to be fine, don't worry. But basically, yes, I had my wedding anniversary on Sunday, and my wife's grandmother died on Sunday night. So it was a double whammy. Today we were at the funeral. Yesterday we were at the viewing. So it was go, go, go. But it's all good because we are here now. We're having a blast. And we are going to make this night memorable. That's right. Let's do this. Woo! It's the first time I shouted at my camera. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure to check out that Facebook wall because we are going to rock the little bit of handouts tonight. We got like 2 million handouts and lots of Polish translations that we need. I'm just kidding. Sit back and enjoy the show, ladies and gentlemen, because guess what? We're at the end of this little book. It's been a long time coming, but it's right here. I see it. This is where Jared dies.
Dolores.
Good night, Dolores. Call of Cthulhu, Game 1, Part 10. The finale. Hello all. And welcome back to the Invictus stream. My name, as always, is Harlan Guthrie, and I want to thank you personally for being with us through these last 10 episodes and joining our small little family on Facebook. I want to introduce you right now to my friend, Henry McFarland.
Good evening.
My friend, Frank Underhill. And our very own Jared Coombs.
Salutations, all.
Let us begin. The end. Henry, you open your eyes and you see sun streaking through a window in the bedroom. You sit up and you're in the bed and breakfast. The bed and breakfast where you saw the dead light only a few days ago, and yet something seems different about it, as if this place was never tainted by darkness. You sit up, turning in the bed, and you place your bare feet on the wooden floor, curling your toes as you do. You can feel the grains in the wood beneath your feet. You breathe deeply, and the warm air in the room fills your lungs, feels real, as if you've been here. But only moments ago, Roland reminded you to not forget yourself. And as you stand up from the bed, the smell of pancakes wafts past your nose.
I stand up from my bed. I take one more moment to remind myself that this isn't whatever I'm going to see here. It's going to test me, and I know it's not real. I go and look at myself in the mirror above the dresser in my room.
Okay, so you walk over to the dresser and you look at yourself in the mirror and you notice your face is bruised, broken, damaged. And it seems out of place at first, but then you realize this is how you looked after being beaten up by Edwin's goons in the basement of the casino, or of the bar. For whatever reason, your appearance, including your clothes and the drops of blood on your collar, are all the way you looked that night that you were mercilessly beaten.
I quickly go to the end of my bed where I've hung up my coat. I grab my jacket and I put it on and reach for my wallet, and looking at my picture of my little girl Emily, I get ready to go out.
Yeah, as you pull the picture out and you hold it up, you hear a laugh echo through the house below you.
Do I recognize the voice?
It just sounds like a young child.
All right, I open my door and I proceed to go down.
So you open the door much the same way you did a few days ago, and again the hallway is bright, and for a second you turn to the door where you saw Frank step out of, again a few days ago, but he doesn't appear. You nod slowly and head downstairs. And as you walk downstairs, you see the table that you sat around, the same stack of pancakes sitting in the center of the table with 4 places set. But at one of the tables, or one of the settings, you see your daughter, Emily, kicking her feet back and forth underneath the chair, drawing with crayons on a piece of paper.
I run over to her and I give her a big hug, and I kiss her on her head.
And she giggles as you pick her up and says, Daddy, or whatever she would call you.
Trying to hold back sobs, because I feared for her life not moments ago. I put her back on her seat, and I sit down beside her and pull up a chair to eat breakfast.
Okay. So you sit down next to her, and even sitting beside her, you can smell, her. If it wasn't for Roland's voice nagging at the back of your mind, you would be convinced that you are with her once again. And as you stare at her, you almost lose yourself for a second, but reel back as you see what she's drawing with a black crayon on the paper before her. And she looks up at you with her big blue eyes, and she says, Look, Daddy. And on the page before her, you see a woman drawn. Very simple drawing. And next to the woman is a big heart drawn in thick black crayon.
Emily, what are you drawing?
And she again kind of sits there, giggling a little bit, swinging her feet back and forth. And she turns to you and says, Help me color it in, Daddy. And you can see a box of crayons sitting next to her.
I go and I open the box of crayons.
Okay. And in the box of crayons, you see blue and green and yellow and various colors that would be in a box of crayons.
What do you think I should start with?
And she says, Daddy, it's a heart.
And I reach for a red.
And as you do, you pour through the crayons, but you don't see any red. Again, green, blue, yellow, pretty much every other color. And as you're looking, she pushes your chair back and walks around the table, leaving her picture before you. And giggling, she runs through the doorway into the next room.
All right, I take the picture up and I look closer at it.
So again, staring at the picture, you see a very simple line drawing, again in black crayon. A young woman of unknown personage, or whoever you're not sure who it is, and a big empty heart.
And is it all in black?
Yeah, everything is drawn in black. The figure looks like it is already filled in black, but the only empty space requiring color would be the heart.
Nothing sinister, just a woman and a heart.
Just a woman and a heart.
I take the picture and I fold it and put it in my pocket.
Okay.
And looking around the room, is there anything else there?
No, it seems, again, almost like a picture you've entered, a picture of the morning that you and Edward and Roland and Frank and Jarrett sat around the table being fed pancakes by Amelia Webb. It almost looks identical to that morning.
Okay. I stand up and I follow my little girl through to the next room.
So you walk through the door frame, or I guess the framing of the rooms, and as you do, you enter the next room, and it's bathed in darkness. It's still a house. You can see slits in the windows. That dim light is shining through, but it seems darker, colder. And looking back, you still see the kitchen that you just came from, but standing in this room, you notice it's different. And for a moment, you ponder before you realize this is Roland's house, the house that you entered and searched again the other day, where you found the bloodstains on the floor in the kitchen and the woman in the basement. And as you stand there, you hear her giggle from upstairs. And we'll stop there for a second. Jarrett. You open your eyes with a crick in your neck. And sitting up in the hard wooden chair, you look out to see the scene that you had seen so many times. The street, the humid street, and the building across the way. And you realize that you're in the hotel room that you were first in when you followed Roland to the phone booth, which led you to Savini's, which led you on this whole path.
Well, wait a second. If I remember correctly, it was shortly after this that a woman died.
The hotel room that you are in right now, you remember as being, you were watching a man across the street. The man across the street, which you found out to be Roland.
Yes, sir.
The woman that passed away was a few earlier times, or a few times earlier.
I thought that I watched him do some sort of ritual through the window.
No, you saw him enter the apartment, and he kind of did something to get what you now perceive to be getting your attention, but nothing sinister from what you remember. And as you're sitting there, actually, the light does click on to the room across the way, and you do see a shadowy figure moving in that room.
Okay, then trying to waste no more time, I'm going to grab all my stuff and run over and try to catch Roland at the door.
Perfect.
Or I have to follow him in the car.
Excellent. Yeah. So you grab your suitcase from the bed, and you book down the stairs, getting the jump on a situation that you have already experienced. And cleverly, your feet hit the sidewalk while the light in the room is still, just clicks off.
Yeah, well, I would look for his car, because I would recognize his car. And I'm just going to wait right there by the car.
Perfect. So you head over to his car, which is parked a little ways down the street from the building that you know he will be exiting. An alleyway to your immediate left. And as you wait there, what do you do with your suitcase?
I'm actually going to put it right on top of the hood of the car.
Perfect. That will weigh it down.
Yeah, I won't be able to drive half.
It's going nowhere. Perfect. So as you're waiting there crouched by the car, you see Roland exit the building, light a cigarette, and begin walking toward his car. He's actually looking over his shoulder as if expecting you to follow. Why don't you give me a stealth roll?
Absolutely no stealth, sir.
Okay. So as you're crouched there, Roland locks eyes with you. And almost nervously, as if reacting on instinct, he darts into the alleyway next to the building.
And I'll call out, Roland! Roland, don't run from me.
And your voice echoes, but from what you can tell, he's still run down the alley.
Then I'll grab my suitcase, and I'll chase after him.
Okay. So you follow him down the alleyway, and the minute you turn the corner to the alley, it transports you to a different part of the city. You're still in an alleyway, but your clothes are different. You have no suitcase in your hand. In fact, you're dressed in darker clothes. The clothes that you wore the night you watched the dying woman in the alleyway. And as you step into the alleyway, you see a small shadowy figure lying in the center, gasping for air.
Okay, so I'm going to run over to it. And I want to take a quick look around, because I'm really nervous without Frank and Henry here.
Okay.
But I do want to run over to the body in the alley right away.
Yeah, give me a... So you run over to the body, and again, it's the girl that you remember from weeks ago. And you can roll a spot hidden if you'd like.
A spot hidden, or would I just go right to like first aid?
If you want to try to stable,
priority over chasing whoever I was chasing.
Roll first aid then.
Yeah, it's a hard success.
Okay, so you succeed at your roll, and as your hands go over to close the wound, you stop. And the words that you've never heard before, but words that feel strangely familiar to you, whisper in your ear. Can you let go? And for a moment, your hand hovers over the wound. Roll sanity.
$32, but since I don't know where I am at the moment.
Your hand hovers over the wound. You've succeeded on your first aid, and for a moment, you can feel something within you. A fighting back, a sense of curiosity, morbid curiosity. And for a moment, you forget that you've lived this, and you question whether you should just see what happens. But in an instant, you're reeled back to the present. You realize that, no, this is a dream. Roland's words echo in your mind, and you hold your hand over the wound as she begins breathing. Her eyes, wet with tears, looking up at you. She nods knowingly, knowing that you have helped her. And as you do that, as your hand holds the wound, you can feel her heartbeat begin to come back to a normal rhythm.
Regardless, it's like it's a hollow victory because it is just a dream.
Do you say that to yourself?
In my inside voice.
So as you hold
however,
her, yeah.
I'm going to still tell her that it's going to be okay.
Okay.
It's going to be okay. What? Can you tell me your name?
And she looks up at you again, her eyes wet with tears, and you can tell she's trying to say a word, but the words won't come out. Her neck wound is just a little too severe to make the words. But as you're holding the wound, you do hear and see the lights of a police car rolling up to the front of the alley, and she slowly turns her head in anticipation.
Again, at this point, I'm just gonna. I can't let her die again. Can't do it. I gotta hold the wound.
Perfect. So you turn to the policemen and, holding the wound, you bring your eyes back down to the woman before you, but it's different. It's no longer a woman. Before you, you see the body of Edward Mason, and the ground around him is dirt. And quickly you look around and you realize you're in the Undercroft, the area underneath the building. However, Edward lies before you dead.
Oh my God! I'm gonna I want to get back behind the tombstone where I was hiding while he was shooting.
So
I'm just gonna get all fetal.
Yeah. So you go to get up, and as you do, Henry and Frank walk over to you with blank stares on their face, and they slowly roll you into the grave with Edward.
What, guys? What are you doing? I'm right here, Henry.
And as you are pushed into the grave, you fall face down, and you land on top of another body, and the body staring back at you is your grandfather. And as you're staring at your grandfather's face, he opens his mouth and says, "Hello, Sonny." Frank, you wake up in your bed. A picture of your wife sits next to your bedside table. Your bedroom is dark, a room you never slept in since your wife had passed, and yet you find yourself waking up there. And as you sit up in bed, you noticed a figure in the corner with a lit cigarette in their mouth, slowly taking a drag.
Who's there?
Your voice is hoarse, very dry, and it cuts through the darkness in the room. And as you say, the figure stands up, walks to the door, and steps out into the main room of your apartment.
I flick the light on.
Okay, so you stand up and flick on the light, and it's your bedroom. Again, the bedroom appears to be like it was when your wife was still alive. Her trinkets and clothes are kind of laid out on the bottom of the bed and the chair in the corner.
I check the bed. Was I the only one in it?
It looks like the side of the bed that's usually hers is tousled, as if someone had been sleeping in it.
Okay. So I grab the picture of my wife on the bedside table and just take a look at it and see what I feel.
Okay, so you stare at your wife's picture, and You are still your current self. How do you feel?
I still feel pain, and I feel guilt, but I need to figure out who that man was who was just in the room. And I walk away. I put the picture back down, and I leave the room.
Okay. So you step outside of the room and into Roland's office. You're standing on behind the desk with the front door to Roland's office still on the other side of the room. Okay. And turning around, there's no door behind you.
Does it look like it's in the same state as when we saw it?
It actually looks different. There were 2 desks in the room when you went to Roland's office. One desk identical to the other, but while Roland's desk was used, the second desk was shoved to one side, dust all over it and unused. In the office you're currently standing in, those 2 desks are actually facing each other. And there is a plaque on one that says Roland Cummings, and there is a plaque on another that has a different name.
Okay. I'd take a look. What's the other name?
So you walk around the desk, again, the desk that you went through a few days ago, and on the plaque it says Charlie Dowd, a name that you do not recognize.
No. Okay. Well, I call out, hello? Is anyone there?
And
as I make my way around the office.
Yeah, give me a listen roll.
Okie-dokie. Success. Hard success. Yeah, hard success.
Hard success. Okay, so you stand in the center of the room and you think you hear something, a movement, a stirring in the room next to you. And as you turn your head a bit to listen, you hear words. You hear a man's voice. And you said it was a hard success?
Yeah.
So you hear the words, "I fucking dare you," said with a heat and an intensity. And you hear a second voice. And the second voice sounds more feminine and younger. And you can hear, it sounds like an argument in the other room.
Okay. So immediately I flash back to the last night I had with my wife.
And you realize, you realize that the fight that they're having in the next room is actually the fight that you and your wife had the night that she left.
All right. I frantically start looking for a way into the next room.
Okay. So, again, the room is identical to how you last saw it, or rather, they're the same number of doors. So only the front door that would be leading out to the hallway is the only way to exit this room.
So there's no door on the walls that
no.
leads to the other side. So I start banging on the wall. I say,
okay.
Don't let her go, you idiot! Don't let her go!
So with a intensity, you're screaming as you bang on the wall, and yet the fight continues uninterrupted, like a record playing the same song.
And I keep on going until my fist hurts and tried to think of something else to do. I look around the office for some way to break down the wall.
Okay. Well, you do know that the building, the offices would connect via the hall.
The hall, okay. But there's no door leading to the hall.
No, there is the front door. The front door leading, like that, that you were allowed to come into Roland's office? Yeah.
Perfect. So I realize that, and I run to the door, and I open it, and go out into the doorway.
As you approach the door, you realize in mirrored lettering it says Roland Cummings and Charlie Dowd on the door as well, painted in black lettering. And you open the door, and before you is a figure of a man you do not recognize, and with an intensity, an innocent intensity, he looks at you, standing in the hallway, and he says, "Do you blame yourself?" Henry, you're standing in the front room of Roland's house, and you're muted. And then you're unmuted.
Okay, so I'm standing there, and I know that my little girl has gone upstairs.
Yes.
So in some way, she's guiding me through this place. So I will pursue that way, I
Okay.
guess.
So
Actually, yeah. I mean, I'll look around. Is the blood still on the floor in Roland's house? I guess I'm not in the kitchen, so I wouldn't be able to really know that, right?
No, yeah, you're kind of in the front hall. However, because you are in Roland's house, you can follow the kind of wall around to that would lead to the kitchen.
All right, I'll try that.
Okay, so you walk around and you enter the kitchen, a place where you found telltale blood stains underneath the floorboards. And you're standing in roughly the same place that you remember that being, but there is no body or blood.
I then decide to go where not my daughter, whoever this incarnation is trying to lead me. So I try to follow her giggles upstairs.
Okay. So you head back to the front hall, and slowly you ascend to the second level. And when you arrive to the second level, you see your daughter standing in the hall. And she giggles, and she runs into a room. The room that you remember was Roland's daughter's bedroom.
Emily, what are you doing here?
And you don't hear anything.
She's just standing there?
No, she ran into the bedroom.
Oh, okay. I follow her slowly.
Okay.
And I check my person. Do I have anything on me? Do I have my knife? Do I have anything?
Yes, you do. You have Edward's coin in your pocket.
Only Edward's coin.
Only Edward's coin. Oh, sorry, and the photo of your daughter.
Well, I look at the coin. Still looks the same.
Looks identical.
Put it in my pocket. And I walk to the room that Emily has just gone into. Emily, this isn't fun anymore. We need to talk.
So as you walk towards the room, you notice another room, a room that was not in Roland's house originally. It's an open door frame, and you hear movement and bustling. Not until you are standing right outside the door, and as you do, you turn, and inside it's a smoke-filled back room of a bar. A roulette wheel sits in the center, a card table in the corner, drinks and music, men handing out stacks of cash. And as you look at it, and you hear the giggling in the room just a few steps ahead, you lick your lips and fight the urge to step inside. Roll sanity.
$30.
Interesting. Okay. So as you stand, what's that?
I'm just waiting to see if
Oh, I thought you said something.
I decide to do.
As you stand there in the hallway, staring into the room, filled with everything that you enjoy, almost everything you enjoy, your eyes dart around the men's hands and the cards being dealt out. And you can almost taste the chips being stacked and slid around, and the smoke wafts out to you in the hall. But Roland's words echo to you. They seep into your brain, and you remember that this is not reality. And as you're standing in the hall, a dealer from one of the tables sets his cards down and walks over to the doorway with the door in his hand, and he turns to you and he says, "What is most important?" And as he says that, without waiting for your response, he slowly shuts the door to you.
I go and I put my hand on the doorknob. And I take it away shaking. I turn towards the door where my little girl ran in, thinking this is the way I meant to go.
And you step before the door, and what you see is young Sarah Cummings' room, Roland's daughter, the daughter that you know to be missing. But what you see before you is a grisly sight. The girl that you recognize from the portraits down in the main hall is lying in the center of the room. Her dolls and various drawings that she's made all around her strewn as if the place has been tossed, and she lies in the center, dead, a pool of blood around her abdomen.
I take my coat off and I lay it over her. But as I'm doing that, I'm trying to notice how she died. Does it look like she was stabbed? Does it look like she was shot?
It looks like her stomach has been torn open by some animal of some sort. Most likely by your... Well, give me if you want to give me a roll, we can see if we can get...
17? And what would you like me to roll?
No, well, you know what? Doesn't really matter because we're going to do it. It looks like it's a dog. A dog would have attacked her.
I say a little prayer under my breath and I cover her up a little bit.
And as you do, you bring your jacket up just to her chin level. And right before you cover her face completely, her lips move. While her eyes do not, her lips move. And from her you hear Emily's voice. And she says, "Color it in, Daddy."
I look around the room. Is there anything else in the room?
There are stuffed animals, drawings, things like that. But you do a quick cursory search of the tabletops and drawers. Nothing. No coloring utensil.
Emily, that's not you. And I take the picture out and I look at the picture that she was drawing. Has it changed at all?
So you open the picture, and standing up before the body, you see it's exactly the same. But as you stand there, with Sarah's body lying under the coat in the background, you see just the cusp of the pool of blood leak out from beneath the coat.
I so carefully pick up Sarah's body and I carry it to the bed. And without even looking at her, I cover her face right up. And then I go back to the pool of blood, I dip my finger in it, and I color in the heart.
And as you do, you focus on the picture. And the moment your finger finishes coloring the heart in the crimson red of Sarah's blood, you notice the background change. And looking up from the picture, you're sitting on the bed in William Bendon's room at the orphanage. Jarrett, you're staring at the face of your grandfather. And as you do, you reel back and notice that instead of lying on top of him, you're actually standing before him in a hospital room, the hospital room you watched him die in. And he stands before you in a gown, looking old, but very much alive as he brings his fists up to you with a menacing look on his face. And you're muted, by the way.
Nothing you can do to hurt me, old man. We're past that now.
And he smiles at you and says, "Oh, really?" And he takes a swing at your gut, and he hits without even having to roll. He hits your gut, and you feel an immense pain shoot through your stomach.
Take you out of this world myself.
And he dances around the room again.
I'm gonna take out my pocket knife, and I'm gonna carve him. Fucking carve him up for all those fucking times he punched me, for all those fucking times he chained me and tied me to the stove. I'm gonna fucking carve him.
All right, tell us what you do.
As I stand up from the blow, I'm gonna reach into my pocket and open up my knife, and I'm just gonna come right at him, going right for the throat, and I'm just going to keep on top of him and just keep jabbing, and I'm not going to let go.
So as you're on top of him, stabbing over and over, you can feel the click of your knife hitting the back of his spine. And slowly you can see through the screaming and the blood as his teeth crack between your fingernails as you're holding his mouth shut. You can see the light slowly dying from his eyes. And in a moment of extreme anger, you close your eyes, and when you open them, you are sitting in a booth. You can hear the clink of dishes moving around you, and a waitress walks up towards you. The waitress at Tony's Diner, and she says, "Anything else?"
So again, I'm looking around for Henry and Frank, and
Again,
I wonder
no
where
one.
they are. I'm going to look outside to see if that cop is there.
So the cop across the street is. You actually can't see across the street. As you look at the window, it looks like a foggy day. And you can't quite see the other side of the street. And waiting for you to respond, she fills up your coffee with a kind of and walks away. And before you, open on the table is your grandfather's diary, as well as a new page pasted before you. And the page looks like... Oh, shit. Delete. Don't look at that. That was the wrong one. Hold on. I think it's this one. Give me 2 seconds, sorry.
So.
Yeah, here we go. This one.
Halloween.
Here we go. I will share it if you want to read it for us, Jarrett.
In the dream, I was laying on a slab of black rock, cold and dense. Beneath me, and 3 men hung in cages. One of them glinted a shiny piece of metal at Shub-Niggurath, and he was chosen to be the host. It was eternal darkness. But in my dream, a man dressed in all black told me this was not the way it had to be. There was another way. Shub-Niggurath can be killed by host's own hand, but only after it enters him. Suicide? I asked. No, he said.
Whoops. So yes, that's the page before you.
Okay, so again, that's just a scrap, or that's in my grandfather's diary.
That's just a scrap.
So I'm going to take it and put it in my grandfather's diary.
Okay.
And again, as I look down, I put the diary back. I just want to see, am I covered in my grandfather's blood?
No, you're wearing the same thing that you wore in the diner the other day. And as you do that, Frank, the man... Frank, the last thing you remember is nothing. Your wife stands across from you in your apartment. You are mid-fighting with her. And she turns to you and says, "I'll leave."
Do I feel all the anger of the argument?
You're very angry, yeah.
Do I remember what happens to her, though?
You feel something. You know that if you let her leave, something bad will happen.
You'll leave? You've left before.
And with the heat that you've come to know so well from Ellen, she stares at you. And slowly it dissipates just a bit, and she says, "Tell me to stay and I will."
Ellen. Let's sleep on it.
So, she lets her guard down, she walks over to you, and after a moment of standing before you, she hugs you. And the two of you head back to your bedroom for another night of sleep. And you wake up the next day, and you get out of bed as a figure in the corner of your room smoking a cigarette leaves your bedroom. And as you follow him, you recognize an office, an odd office, an office for one Roland Cummings. And as you try to leave that office, a figure stands before you, asking if you blame yourself. And before you can answer, you're standing before your wife, as she turns to you and says, "I'll leave." And for whatever reason, you feel this nagging that if she leaves, something bad will happen. Roll sanity.
Yeah, it all feels very familiar. I don't succeed.
Ah, okay. Now, she, as much as you want to say it, as much as you want to tell her to get out of here, this feeling that something bad will happen, it feels almost like guilt. Like if you let her leave, it will be your fault. You will blame yourself should something happen. And as much as the words, they want to leave your lips, you cannot make them. And you tell her once again, "Let's sleep on it." And as she walks towards you, you embrace. Roll a 1d10, please.
6.
Okay. That night you head to bed, and you wake up for no reason that you're aware of. You step out of bed as a smoking figure leaves your bedroom. You follow him to Roland's office, to a man who asks if you blame yourself, to the fight with your wife. And she says once again, "I will leave." Roll sanity.
42.
I will allow you to push it if you would like. Or, if you'd like, you can roll something else.
Credit rating?
Something pertaining to it, persuade or something like that.
Operate heavy machinery? Yeah, the only thing... No. And I can't... there's no adding luck to a sandy roll, right?
I don't think so.
Or we've done that before, I think.
I have them in front of me so I can find out. Adding luck. May not be spent on... No, cannot be spent on sanity rolls.
Okay. In that case, I will push it.
All right.
Ooh, big money, big money, big money. Ooh, bad money.
Okay. Roll a 1d10.
3.
Okay. Okay. As she embraces you, you hear a knock at the door.
And I look up at Ellen, and is she reacting?
And she stares at you as if she didn't hear it.
I say, just a minute, Ellen. And I stand up. And I walk to the door.
So you open the door.
Oh. I look through the eye hole.
Sorry. You look through the eye hole in the door, and you see a figure dressed all in black on the other side.
But only his crotch, because...
Yeah. All right. And does the apartment have one of those like the chain locks?
Sure. You're in
All
Arkham.
right.
It's sketchy.
So I put that in, and I open the door, and I say, "What?"
And the man you do not recognize, he says, Frank Underhill,
Yeah, what's it to you?
I need to speak with you, if I could have a moment of your time.
We're speaking right now.
Frank, it's in your best interest to let me in. I'm trying to help you.
What's your name?
My name is Roland. I know you don't think we've ever met, but we have.
I'm just trying to have dinner with my wife right now. It couldn't have come at a worse time.
I understand, but believe me, I'm doing this for your own good.
All right, well, I get the feeling that somehow I can trust him. So I close the door, unlock the chain, and I open it again.
So he steps in as Ellen kind of has a puzzled look on her face, and she turns to you and says, Frank, who's this?
It's okay, Ellen. You can trust him.
And in a scuff, she walks out of the room into the bedroom. Like, we're going to have another fight. And he walks over to the dining room table, and he kind of rubs his fingers across it, as if he's checking for dust. And he turns to you, and he says, Frank, I need you to listen to me for a second. None of this is real. You're falling victim to the appeal of this place, and I'm not going to explain exactly what it is at this point, but you need to understand that what you are experiencing is not real. He says, if you'd be so kind as to humor me for 1 minute, I think I can help set you back on the path that you need to be on.
This is all very strange. You realize that.
I understand, but at the end, if there is no trusting me, or you believe that I am false in my the way I present my case, then you can throw me out. No need to buy me a drink or give me any food, and you can go on living your life with Ellen. But if you will humor me for a second, I feel like we can help each other.
All right, what do you have to say?
And he pulls out a chair from the dining room table and sets it in front of the door. And he says, if you please, sit down for a second.
I do.
So you sit down, and you're sitting facing the front door, the wooden door that he just came in from. And he says, Frank, I need you to understand that what you're experiencing right now is not exactly real. It's a construct. It is a world that you and I would not understand. A fleshy, inhuman world. But as much as this looks real, and he taps the desk and he rubs his fingers and he says, this actually is that inhuman material. Stare at the door for a second.
All right. So I stare.
And he walks next to the door, and he says, Frank, I want you to stare at this door. Do not avert your gaze. And as you stare at the door, slowly, your eyes focusing on the cracks in the wood, the lines in the door, the frame that it is encased in, you stare, and you stare, and you stare. And slowly, you see between the cracks in the wood, it fades. And between the thick pieces of wood, you see a pink, fleshy substance. And as you see the pink, fleshy substance between the cracks, your mind reels back to the words Roland said to you before entering you in that trunk of the tree. And he said, and you realize exactly where you are, and you recognize Roland for who he is, and you remember the night, and you remember what you have to do. And Roland sees this wash over your face, and with sad eyes he turns to you, and he nods. Frank, you need to let her leave. And he opens the door, and he shuts it behind him. And as he does, Ellen walks out of the bedroom. And she turns to you. And what the hell was that all about?
Helen, if you'll just let me explain. He was here to help me with something.
And she turns to you in a fit of rage, grabbing her coat, and she says, "You know what, Frank? All this fucking bullshit, all this... You don't talk to me. You cheat on me. You don't come home some nights. You treat me like I swear to Christ, Frank, I will leave."
I fucking dare you.
And her face drops. Her eyes go wild in a fury. And she leaves. And as the door slams, Henry, you look around the bedroom in the orphanage. The panel is removed from the wall. The panel that was behind, that had the picture of young Edward Mason. And sitting there, you hear a soft laughing as the now alive Sarah Cummings steps into the doorway. And she smiles at you. "Henry?"
Sarah?
And in a very mature tone, while her voice is still very young, she comes and sits down next to you. And she says, "Henry, you can still help me. And you can still help us all."
So how can I help you?
Each of you is important in this. Each of you can help save the world. Shub-Niggurath is the creature that's coming. There's nothing that can stop it. He's coming. And when you wake up, if you wake up, he'll be just about here. And that's the look that you give.
So how... What? So then how do I stop it, Sarah? You said I can stop this. I can save the world. What do I do?
There's something that Antoine missed. There's something that he didn't know about. And with her tiny hand, she reaches into your pocket and she pulls out the coin. This isn't just a coin. The coin that Edward gave you all that time ago. She sets it in the palm of your hand. And she looks at you and says, "He'll be drawn to it. Whoever holds that coin will be the host."
So that's why Edward gave it to me.
Edward didn't know.
Edward didn't know. He doesn't want us to be the host.
Only the host can kill Shub-Niggurath in his human form.
How do I do it?
And she giggles at you and skips out of the room. And as she does, an inky blackness seeps over your eyes. Jarrett, you open your eyes and you are standing at your mother's grave, the spot that you feel most comfortable. And you are dressed in a black coat and a black tie, and rain beats down over you. And turning around, you see a sea of people walking away, and the grave is open and fresh before you, just as the day that your mother was buried.
Need your help, Ma. I'm really lost right now. It's just too much to explain. I need to know what to do. But I took care of Grandpa for you. For both of us. He won't be hurting either one of us again.
And as you're standing before the grave, speaking these words, you feel a soft hand on your back. And turning around, you see a man you don't recognize, with a big mustache. And he nods to you.
Yes, sir?
And he says, "I know what you seek, and there is still a way to save this world. One must act as host, but one must read the passage to reroute the gateway.
Where do I find this passage, sir?
The passage will be given to one of you. If you have yet to receive it, then there is still someone else trapped in this world.
There's a couple of us, sir.
And he looks down. There is also Antoine. He must be stopped.
I don't understand, sir. How do we get out of this world? How do I get my friends out?
And he looks at you with kind of a curious... He says, I think you have already made the decision to leave this world. You have conquered your demons. Please, right the wrong that he did so many years ago. I tried to stop him myself, but I could not.
I will, sir. Tell me what to do, and I'll go from here.
And he nods to you. One must act as host. The host must run through the gateway once the passage has been read to reroute it. When Shub-Niggurath comes into the host, he will be motionless. He will not be able to move. It's why it's impossible for the host to kill himself. But there is someone watching over you, a man who has dedicated his life in this dream world to make sure this comes to pass.
Antoine?
No, a friend of yours and a friend of mine. A man who has helped you come here. Roland, I believe his name is. If the host is pushed through the gateway after the passage is read, then Shub-Niggurath will be defeated. And as he stands before you, he stretches out his hand. It was great to meet you, Jarrett.
Thank you, sir. Who? I didn't catch your name, sir.
And he says, Nietzsche. And as he does, an inky blackness kind of rolls over your eyes. Frank, you have glasses on now.
Yeah, my eyes were hurting. I tried doing one of those cross your eye things that Aisha posted.
Well, glad you were paying attention.
I tried it too, and I was wondering if I just looked really weird for like half a minute when I was going like this.
Frank, where was the place you met Ellen?
We met at the park.
Okay. So, you're sitting on a park bench. You're younger, in your early 30s. And as you sit there, you feel a sense of adventure in your belly, a sense of something good is coming, and a beautiful woman walks down the path. But you recognize her, Delphine Cummings, Roland's wife. You haven't lost yourself again. And the woman who you saw dead and almost beheaded in the freezer of Roland's basement sits down next to you. And she puts a hand around you casually. Frank?
Can I help you?
Roland's done a lot. Make sure that you guys have all you need to save this world.
What else do we need? Are the other guys okay?
The other two have made it out. They're going to be okay. But when you wake up, the three of you are going to be in for some trouble. Each of you has a role to play. One of you has to act as host. One of you needs to read the passage to change the direction of the gateway.
Okay.
If these aren't done, if the gateway is not opened, or the host, once Shub-Niggurath enters the host, he won't be controlled immediately, but he won't have function over his body. It's why the host could never kill himself. But Roland figured a way around that. What someone needs to do is make sure that the host is pushed through the gateway after it's opened.
Okay.
I
And
don't
we
know
open
how
the
it's
passage. We
Once
read the
someone opens
passage.
the passage. And she pulls out a slip of paper and hands it to you. This needs to be read. You can read it now for our viewers.
And standing before the open gateway, this must be read. Oh, okay. I don't read that. Warnings you did all unheed. Pray if want, beg and plead. No more mercy in these days you will suffer in sordid ways. His grace is gone, hearts flood with fear. The deep one has come, he is here. Now gateway split to another night. And vanquish evil, we cannot fight this. This is really going to be enough to send this demon back to where it came from?
If the host is standing before the gateway, and the passage is read, and the host is thrust through the gateway, Roland has made sure that it will all come to fruition, and I trust him, and you need to trust him now. And as she's speaking, a black ink begins pouring over your face. You don't have much time now. Remember what I say. And as her words echo, the three of you, standing shoulder to shoulder, each open your eyes on a stormy night. I'm not going to bother with sound effects because we've heard them all to death.
Oh, you guys made it.
Yeah, you see each other.
Frank.
Henry, Jared. Are you all right?
Nice.
Yes. I've been told what we need to do.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure, but I have this coin that I was given. Is not just a coin. It's a tracking Shub-Niggurath. Shub-Niggurath. Somebody say his name for me.
Shub-Niggurath.
Shub-Niggurath. And whoever possesses this coin will become a host.
So as you're talking, you realize that you're actually standing on the cusp of a large area, an open room, but you can still see the cracks in this veil, and even more so than before, it feels relived. It feels like you're watching not just a memory of your own, but a memory of someone else. And as you stand on the edge of this open, stony field, a man walks into frame. Dressed in cloak, he walks in as lightning illuminates him, and he stands with open arms before a large pillar. And a gateway opens up before you. And before you can move, you see another man, Jared, the man you recognize, the man who shook your hand in the graveyard, but he's dressed in iron and a sword by his side, a shield on his back, and he stands out and he calls across the open field, and he says, "Enti!" Nietzsche. A third man enters, and what you see before you is almost a play. The night, a reenactment of what happened years ago, hundreds of years ago, on the night. The man you know as Enti stands before a gateway as it forms. Again, he appears very old, and he spins around to see Erwin and Nietzsche appear behind him, calling out his name. Erwin runs towards him, but the fight is short, as Enti removes a short dagger and shoves it into his skull. You try to move, each of you, but you realize that you're meant to watch this, as if again, it's playing out before you. Nietzsche stands up, looking at it, or steps forward, looking at his dead friend Erwin. "You are like a brother, Enti," Nietzsche says. with slitted eyes, Enti smiles a cracked grin, and the two begin to fight. While they fight, the portal behind them cracks open, and bolts of lightning shoot to the sky. And as they're, scuffing, what's it called when you have like a scrap?
Scrapping.
There you go.
Sparring.
So as they're sparring, what's that?
Are we frozen? Are we still streaming?
Are we frozen?
Something just happened, is what Chris Lawrence is saying. Fabric of Spaces, I think they're saying that we're frozen.
Oh, let's see. No, I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah?
Scuffle is
Wanted
the
to
right
make
word,
sure.
Yeah.
Yes, Enti kills Irwin before your eyes in an instant. The soldier, the man who stood for everything right, is killed by the man who seek knowledge. Everything you see before you is changing the way that you understood the facts. You knew Nietzsche to be the one who craved power, and yet Enti, the one who seeks knowledge, stands before the now open portal fighting with Nietzsche. And as they fight, the portal behind them opens, and out walks the black goat. He stands watching the two fight. And as Nietzsche falls back, Enti stands over him, screaming over the lightning. You don't understand, it comes. Shove exists in all reality at once, regardless of time or place. There is only one, and he has chosen our planet as his home. As they are speaking, the black goat that stands behind dissipates into a black mist, and you can see it flow into Enti as they fight. And for a brief moment, you see Enti become more powerful than anything else. But Nietzsche lands a fatal blow, and in his hands, in the pouring rain, Enti dies. From your angle, you can see the black mist that was the goat leave the body of Enti and slowly seep into Nietzsche's mouth. Confused and displaced, Nietzsche stands over the bodies of his two friends. For a moment, he seems to look in your direction, almost squinting in the darkness, as if for a moment the fabric of time may be overlapping one on top of the other. And in a shriek of pain, a blade thrusts through his chest. He falls over, and behind you see a much younger Antoine, as he rushes to his master's side, Enti. Crying over the body, you once again see the black smoke leave Nietzsche's body and float up to the atmosphere. In his dying breaths, you can see Enti holding something small and metal close to his lips, whispering words, unintelligible to hear. Antoine runs around, completely oblivious to it, trying to make heads or tails of the situation. But with his final breath, you see a sense of power fall into a small object. And as he falls to his back, the object rolls with a clink towards you. Antoine scoops and snatches it up as no more than a trinket. But Henry, in your eyes, you see it, the coin that resides in your pocket. The coin that Enti entrusted with the power to be the host, unknowing to Antoine. He slips it into his pocket to be given to Edward, his protege, in many a year from now. And from behind you, you hear a voice, and Roland says, "Now you see." And the three of you turn around, and you're standing on the roof of the sanitarium. The sky still rises above you. Roland still stands, hurt and broken, like you saw him when he let you into the trees. Now you see.
Now, are we still near the gateway? Can we see
No, the gateway had closed in that past, and you're now on the roof of the sanitarium, still in the dream world. And Roland stands before you.
gateway? And Roland, how do we get to the gateway?
I will help you. You won't have much time. You have each conquered your demons, and therefore you are fit to leave this world, but a great sacrifice of power is required to allow you to leave. I will sacrifice that power. But before we do, did you find what you need to know? Do you know what you have to do?
Yes, sir. I just don't know if anyone has the passage that we need.
I have the passage, Jared.
I have the coin.
Henry, sir? Mr. McFarlane? Please give me the coin.
Not here.
Whoever is the host, I don't know if I'd be strong enough to push either of you through.
Let's not worry about that now. Let's get out of here first. You can decide that later.
Yeah. All right.
No, before I open it, I need to know which one of you would be the host.
I'll be the host.
It has to be me, sir.
It doesn't have to be you guys. I was given the coin.
I am
Frank.
the oldest.
I can't move you guys.
Frank, I was given the coin. Jared, I was given the coin. It's my responsibility.
It's no one's responsibility. Who knows what's going to happen when we push someone through that portal? Listen, I have nothing to live for.
You have nothing to live for? I have no reason to live.
Your daughter could still be out there, Henry.
I know, and she deserves someone good to take care of her. And Frank, when I do this, I expect that from you. I expect you have no one, and you wouldn't be tempted by stupid things like drinking and gambling. You would give her the life she deserves. You have the money. It's best for everyone that I go through the portal.
She needs a father. I know. I grew up without one.
Jared, shut up. Jared, sorry, but Frank, it has to be this way.
You should be with your daughter, Henry. You should be with your daughter. You faced your demons already, clearly.
No,
this is something that you can overcome. You can overcome your gambling. You can overcome your alcoholism.
Frank,
people have done it before. Is it not worth it?
Someone. Because I took that someone away from you.
What?
I killed your wife, Frank. I had to. I regret it. I had to do it for Emily. And now that's the one thing I was able to do for her.
You did it.
Frank, you have to understand I had no choice.
No choice. No choice. You killed my wife in an alley. She was defenseless. How could you sink to such a level? Surely death would be worth more. And I punch Henry.
Frank, I know you don't understand.
No, I don't understand. Of course not. Nothing could be worth that.
Frank, I needed to make sure my little girl was going to be okay. I owed some people a lot of money, and they were going to do horrible things to me. They were going to do horrible things to Emily. It was all I could do, Frank. If I had it any other way, you think I would have done that? Now's your chance. Take it out on me. But just promise me you will look after Emily once I'm gone.
Yeah.
And I go over to Roland and I say, we're ready.
And Roland nods, looking at each of you. You know what needs to be done. And as he does, he screams, and you see every bit of him rip apart and float into the atmosphere. And as he does, the roof of the sanitarium fades away, and all of his small bits form into a puddle on the floor, which quickly zaps to some sort of a gateway.
All right. I have the passage.
I take my position in front of the gateway. I'm ready. Promise me, Frank, you'll take care of her. Frank, she's done nothing wrong.
Yeah, I know that. Neither did my wife, Henry. But I'm not like you. I'll look after your daughter. And I begin reading the passage.
Okay, so sorry. So the portal brings you back. So as you decide, the portal seeps over all of you, and you are snapped back into reality. Each of you feels like you woke up from a coma. Your limbs are soft. Your eyes feel like it's the first time you've seen light in years, and you feel the hard metal bars around you. As each of you open your eyes, you're hanging from cages attached to the roof in some sort of dark cave. The smells of the wet stone seep into your senses, and you know that you are in reality again. And looking down before you, you see Antoine, dressed in a black cloak with the hood down, standing before a now open gateway, his hands stretched. You see Anna lying on a black slab of cold rock down before. And on the floor next to him, you see a young girl in a cage, Sarah Cummings, the daughter of Roland. And as you each wake up, you cough, clearing the air from your lungs, and Antoine spins, looking at the three of you. Ah! You made it back! I cannot say that is such great timing. He is just about come. You get to witness our young Anna here become host to Shub Nigarah. The creature that my master brought 600 years ago has finally arrived, and you get to witness it.
Anton, she's done nothing.
Antoine laughs. Of course she's done nothing. She should be honored. She gets to be the host. Do you not understand what that means? Shub-Niggurath is but one. There is only one that exists in all of reality. And she gets to be the host, the vessel. She is the one.
And I call down to Anna and I say, Anna, everything is going to be okay.
Sorry,
And-
Antoine, it's not going to happen the way you think it's going to.
Oh, is it?
No, sir. Not from what we learned from where you sent us, and I thank you for it. You are so far gone right now. You are so lost. You are so arrogant. You don't even see the problems that you created for yourself.
I take a
Tom probably doesn't even have the power to summon this fake god he claims to know. It's all bullshit. Anton, you're just afraid.
Do you know how old I am?
Don't
you
really
think-
care, sir. Doesn't really matter.
I spit down on him.
All right, roll.
Accuracy?
Sure, accuracy, luck, firearms, whatever you want.
Firearms.
Ranged weaponry.
Success.
Is it?
I don't know. I wanted to.
What did you roll for?
Hawking,
Listen.
hacking a loogie.
I'm gonna say it's got to be some sort of distance fight, so you can do luck or firearms.
Yeah, I'll just say it misses, but he gets the idea.
Okay, so he
hit
spits and it lands on the floor before him, and he looks up at you. Mere mortals. Mere mortals.
Very true. You're not wrong there. Too bad you're so misguided on the rest, sir.
And how is that, young Jarrett? How am I so misguided? He says as he steps towards you in the cage. And again, remember, you guys are hanging on the ceiling,
Yes, sir.
maybe 7 feet up.
I kind of glance over at Jarrett and kind of go, give him a look like, be careful, don't say too much.
Well,
And it'll look. It's just one look. We've known each other that long that 4
When
days
you
is
were
enough.
there as a kid, we saw you there as a kid, and you're missing an important part of the story, which is the 3 soldiers.
I was there with the 3
You were,
soldiers.
sir. We saw it.
And you think you missed something?
No, you missed something, sir.
You think I missed something? I lived it. Do you know how long I've breathed?
And you were a kid, sir. You were a child at the time.
Jared, why don't you inform me? What did I miss?
The 3
While he's
soldiers.
distracting him, can I try to pick my lock?
Of course. Of fucking course.
Keep going,
What are you
Jared.
gonna do, guy? Let's do it.
Keep distracting Jared.
How high up are we again?
7 feet. Oh!
Nice.
Henry McFuckarland. God! You're not only do you pick it, but you pick it silently. You pick it without the slightest, which I would have punished you on, without the slightest notice from Antoine, who's totally drawn by Jarrett. And I'm going to say, yeah, I don't even know what you could have picked it with, but it's a 6, so you succeeded. Jarrett,
Right.
you can tell that Antoine is being not upset, but he's concerned. What did I miss, Jarrett? What do you think I missed?
You missed the 3 soldiers. You missed how important the 3 of us are to what you're trying to do. You actually need us.
No.
I
you
know
think-
it sounds like a crack, but while you were distracted by the storm and all the fighting, like you were as a little child, that is the part of the puzzle that you missed. You actually need us by your side while this is going on. You can't do that. Sorry, not going to happen the way you want.
Are we in separate cages? Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, you're all in separate cages.
So unless you move Anna in here, or you move us out there, sorry, buddy.
You think I need you by my side.
You need the 3 soldiers by the gateway.
That's not even... But you can see something is eating at him as he's staring at you. And now he's shifted to a position where he's actually standing between Jarrett and the other 2 cages. So his back is towards you, Henry.
Okay, do I see... I'm trying to think of the best way to go about this. I'm gonna... How high up are the cages?
7 feet, a fair drop. It's like nothing.
Base look like?
It's a cave. At the end of it is a wrought iron gateway, which is turning. It's blue and light, and it's making kind of a humming sound. Next to it, Anna lies on a cold stone slab, completely out of it. Young Sarah Cummings lies in a cage, but other than that, you can't really even see a way in or out of this room. It's kind of... The 3 of you are sitting, Jarrett, Frank, and Henry. Henry, you are on the farthest side. Jarrett, he is now facing the wall and yourself with his back to the other.
And while he does that, and while Henry's deciding what to do, I'm actually going to go into detail about what we saw. So, the only thing I'm going to leave out is the bit of the coin and the whispering words, but I'm going to describe everything else in as much detail as I can so that he knows I'm not bullshitting.
Okay. So he looks at you with slitted eyes, the same angry eyes you saw that night. How did you know that?
I told you. Thanks to you, you sent us there.
That's not what the dream... That's not...
You sent us there for a reason, and maybe beyond your knowledge. But maybe because your master wants us here, and wants us by your side.
And frustrated, he turns away from you and walks towards the portal. And you can see he's kind of pissed off as he's kind of shouting things to himself.
And I'll tell you this. You actually need us to fight each other and relive that story. And after what we've been through, I got no love for these guys.
And he turns towards you. You have no love for what, guys?
Mr. Underhill or Mr. McFarlane, I've seen the pieces of crap that they are.
And I look over at Jarrett, kind of going, what the hell are you talking about? What are you getting at?
Mm-hmm. Why do I need you? Why do I need you then? Why do I need you?
Because
So
he's
again,
yellow.
I'll go over the story and talk about how the three soldiers ended up killing each other.
I'm going to do a mechanical repair on my cage. See
So
if
you
there's
tighten
any-
the lock to a point where it's impenetrable. No, I'm kidding. Go for it.
Yeah, just to see if there's any weak spots.
Yeah,
structural.
it'll be very tough, but sure, go for it.
I mean, I got a disadvantage.
No, it'll just be a very high level of difficulty.
Okay. No.
Okay. Okay, so Jarrett, you're getting to him. Give me a roll for whatever you feel would be most appropriate.
I just feel like automatic success would be appropriate because you've seen the way I roll.
I meant give me a category in which you choose to roll into. But I like the fact that you're goading him, so you know what? I'll give you a bonus.
I'm gonna do it as psychology.
That's
Because that's
pretty
actually
perfect.
what I'm trying to do.
Yep.
So in this case, do I roll the 2?
Yeah, and we'll take the second digit of the
Yeah,
lowest.
let's just do this. Shall we throw it out to the community? If anyone wants to, like, I don't know, can they spend some XP?
Yeah, why not? That's what they were supposed to do, weren't they? I can't remember. What was the, what was the skills? If someone wants, yeah, you know what? If someone wants to spend some experience points to allow him to re-roll, well, because bonus would give it to you anyway. So,
Yeah.
we'll say roll the bonus and we'll see what happens. And if it fails, we'll let the community.
17? Is that the way it is?
No, it would be 21.
21, because it's
Which
the
is
better.
still very good. So what level of success is that in your psychology? So
That's
community, we
a-
don't need it.
That's a hard success.
Okay.
And I'm going to push it. I'm going to use 10 points of luck to make it an extreme success.
All right. Okay. So, in a fluster, Antoine turns back towards you and walks over. What do you know that I don't? And he reaches up with a key and unlocks your cage and pulls you out of it, slamming you to the ground. And as you do, you actually do dislocate your shoulder a little bit.
Oh, it's a good thing it was an extreme success, or else that would have been your neck.
And you're now on the ground. And he pulls you over to the portal, almost threatening with pushing you in, sort of. Do you know what that world is behind me? That's the world that Shub-Niggurath comes from. It's space. When I throw you through there,
Have
whatever
you not
happens in
been listening to
1920s
fucking
knowledge of
things
space
I've
will
been
happen to
saying?
you. What?
You've not been listening to a fucking word I've been saying.
He
You
kind of
arrogant
something-
son of a bitch. Do you want to do this or not?
and something flicks behind his eyes as you're saying that. Fine, how can you help me?
Jared, what are you doing, you yellow bastard? Don't help him.
What the hell do we... We're here. There's nothing we're going to do to stop it.
Coward. I yell, and I try to spit on him again.
And now I'm... Come. We
He's pretty
need
far away
this here because we need to fight it out.
That's symbolic.
And Antoine turns back to you in the cage and says, "Your friend here is right. There's nothing you can do to stop it." And as he does, Jarrett, you feel a little lick on the back of you. And turning around, tentacles are beginning to come from the portal. And he steps back with you. And it comes.
Absolutely.
Is he facing the portal?
He is.
Okay. This is gonna be really. How far away is he?
From the portal or from you? From you, he's maybe 10 feet. From the portal, he's maybe 5 feet.
Is he very awestruck by the portal, kind of? Like
Very much so. Well, you can't see his face, but he is standing there.
I'm gonna slowly open the gate of my cage and see if I can lower myself down, walk over to him, and see if I can pickpocket him.
Okay, give me a stealth roll.
Okay, instead of stealth, can I do dodge his sight?
No.
I could really use some points from the team here.
Yeah, if anyone would like to spend some experience points, I'll write a new post right now. I'll just write spend XP question mark. So if you would like to spend experience points to give Henry McFarland a bonus die right now, I'm sure he would greatly appreciate it. So just comment below there if you would like to do that. And as you're doing that, Antoine again is staring with Jarrett. You're still kind of held in his grasp.
Yeah, now I was wondering, I was assuming we don't have anything on us.
You do not, except Henry does have a coin in his pocket.
Right.
What if I were to
worthless
just
coin.
kick Antoine through the gate? What?
He's not the host.
What if I were to put the coin in Anton's pocket and kick him through the gate?
Yeah.
He'd be the host.
So I'm going to, rather than try to pickpocket him, I'm going to just try to slip the coin onto him.
Okay. So you're going to walk up to him. So give me a stealth roll.
You know what? I don't know if my guilt would overpower me, though. Because, I mean, I don't think I deserve to die at this point. I mean, deserve to live. So I will pickpocket him instead. I'll try that. So first we'll do the stealth roll. Do I have any bonuses from the audience?
Yeah, you got everybody's down. Dustin, Patrick, Aisha, T, all are like, sure. So
Okay.
what we'll do, to be nice, is we'll do this one with a bonus roll, and we'll see what happens. And it'll be T, because he was the first one. And you know what? T, as much as it was appreciated, well, no, T, you spent experience, but you gave him a 2. So, well done. Let's do a round of applause for that. Excellent community we got here, guys. You criticaled it. So,
I grabbed the keys from him.
No. This is your stealth. So you get out of your cage very slowly and you walk up behind him. But as you're doing so, you see the tentacles come out and they slowly float over Anna, and she is lifted in the air by the tentacles. And you can hear Antoine laughing with Jarrett in his arms. He's picking the host.
Okay, so then I will grab the keys. I'll do a pickpocket to try to grab the keys.
Okay.
Can I use should I just do it?
Well, we also have a few other people suggesting, so we'll go Aisha for a bonus.
So 18 or 17, or how's that work?
That would be 17. Is that a success?
That's a success.
Thank you, Aisha. We are a lucky bunch of adventurers.
Mm-hmm.
I will, without being silent, I will run back to Frank's cage, jump up, give him the keys, and look him in the eye as he's hanging on to the key, and I'm hanging on. I said, "You promised." I will leave the keys for him.
Yep. And I take them and I nod. I'm still mad.
Okay, so you pull the keys from Antoine's coat as he spins around. No! Henry, you run to the cage and you drop the key on the thing, looking at Frank, and you say that line again.
I say, "You promised. Remember Emily."
All right, Henry. I grab the key and I unlock the door.
Okay. And you unlock the door, the padlock hits the ground with a thud, and Henry, you spin around to see Antoine looking at you as the tentacles in the background pick up Anna.
Why is she the host?
And I run to the open gate, and I hold the coin out, and I flash in front. I say, Shod Nigroth, it is I that you want. Leave that mortal alone. Take me.
And the tentacles holding the woman just whip out, and she falls down to the rock, relatively unharmed. And for a moment, everything pauses. A little slow motion. Antoine turns to you. What? Fury fills his face. And he looks towards Frank as the gate is open. And he turns toward Jarrett. And with one move, he grabs a blade and slices Jarrett's neck.
I'll take this opportunity to die.
Dodge it!
Jarrett, dodge it.
Absolutely, but I was just gonna say that as he turns, I'm gonna stab him in the neck.
Work.
Too bad. Dodge it.
I was just listening to you. All right, what do I gotta do? Dodge. I'm gonna die. Here we go. Critical success on the way. Bow.
You feel the metal run across your throat as Frank, you see blood squirt from Jarrett's neck. Henry, you are immediately snatched up by a set of black tentacles as you feel them running through your throat and into your veins. Your eyes go black as you can feel a great evil surge through you. And Frank, you're now on your feet, sprinting towards the scene.
And as I'm running, I'm pulling out the piece of paper in my hand.
Okay.
And as I'm running, I'm saying the words.
So Sam!
Warnings you did all unheed. Pray if want, beg and plead. No more mercy in these days. You will suffer in sordid ways. His grace is gone. Hearts flood with fear. The deep one has come. He is here. Now gateway split to another night. And vanquish evil we cannot fight. And I body slam Antoine.
Okay, so with a fierceness, you smash into Antoine as the blade leaves Jarrett's throat. And he falls back as you're reading these words. And Jarrett, you are gasping at your wound. You still have mobility. You're not dead. You're just very mortally wounded.
All right, so
Am I frozen and am I paralyzed?
Yes, you are feeling this surge through you as the three people are scuffing. You can still see what's going on, but no part of you can move as you're just being lifted into the air.
I'm gonna try to just grab onto Antoine as tight as I can as I fall through the portal.
Okay. Oh, you're pretty far from the portal still.
Oh.
So it's only Henry that's being pulled into the portal as the three of you are kind of scuffling on the floor, maybe 5 feet before it.
Then I guess because as I was getting my knife out anyway to stab him, but he got me first, I will just try to sink my knife as deep into him as I can.
You absolutely can do that.
But I will miss because I'm like,
yeah, okay, so you go to swing at him, but you kind of miss, and Frank, as you're scuffling around, you have him in your grips as you start choking the life out of him, or?
Yeah, that sounds appropriate.
You gonna try to wrestle the knife, or?
Yeah, no, I'd wrestle the knife. That makes sense.
So give me a roll for wrestling the knife out.
Okay, I'll do my wrestle knife roll.
Yeah, it's a specific one.
Yeah. No, I feel that's probably just unarmed damage.
Yes.
Boom, 90. No.
Okay. So no, you try to fight it out, but you can't. And as he is still holding the knife, he goes to slash, and across your chest, Frank, you feel a sharp ping of pain, as you can feel your shirt get wet with blood almost immediately. And Henry, as you're floating now, slowly being drawn towards the portal, you see the three of them rolling around and fighting. A flash of bright light echoes behind you as the words a few minutes ago, or a few seconds ago, left Frank's lips, and Antoine's eyes, white with fear, look up to you, and he says, "No," as he knows something has changed. And as you are just pulled through the portal, your eyes remaining only for a second, you see Antoine viciously slashing Jarrett, and Frank as you disappear into the portal. Henry, you hit the ground with a thud. The hard pavement is on your back.
The hard pavement is what?
Sorry. Feel the hard pavement on your back. The heat of the evening immediately makes you start sweating through your shirt a little bit. And within you, you can feel something moving and writhing. Shub-niggurath. It's coursing through your veins. You cannot move, but your eyes are open, and you see above you the dark sky. Pitch black. But not the night sky that you saw in Arkham only over the last day. A regular night sky, a pretty night sky. Yet the heat is so familiar. Frozen, you lay there with your eyes up. From beside you, you hear a rustling, like rags being shuffled. And then it stops, and a voice cuts through the darkness. Well, well, well. That took a bit of time, didn't it? From the shadows, you hear movement as someone walks over to you. And suddenly, Edward Mason's face comes into light above you. So you must have been the most difficult one to kill in the Undercroft. Contingency is great, isn't it? By now, I might as well introduce myself properly. My name is Eric Stanzik. Hopefully you've met my sister, Anna? Hopefully not. He drops a pile of clothes on your chest, and you can feel them. And again, you still can't move, but you're watching this through your eyes at a distance. As he drops the clothes on your chest, he begins to undress you. And as he does, you get a better view of your surroundings as he turns you from side to side. You see you're in a dim alleyway, somewhere in Arkham. At the end of the alley, you see a car, its trunk open. And between the car and yourself, you see a body, naked and wrinkled, lying on its stomach. Did you see where I used to live in the steam tunnels? Did you get that far? You know, I go there late at night after everyone was asleep to read my sister's journal. As he talks, he buttons up your shirt and lifts you, carrying you towards the open trunk of his car. And as he passes the body, you see who it is. Savini, the great Savini, stabbed in the alleyway, like the newspaper said. Your head bobs down for a second, and you see you're wearing his clothes. He walks to the back of his car and puts you in the trunk, nodding to you. Yeah, and I have no doubt Roland will make someone kill you as a sign of our messy mistakes. I'm sure by now you know all this. He gags you and throws a white bag over your head and begins tying your hands and feet. The trunk slams shut, and in the darkness of the trunk, you stay motionless. Within you, you can feel yourself slipping away as Shub-niggurath writhes within you. And slowly, you can feel yourself almost completely being taken over by Shub-niggurath as it whispers in your mind. Henry McFarland, you will be the vessel for this world's end. You can hear Edward speaking from the front seat as he drives. This is the contingency, if you don't know that by now. When Antoine and I set out to do this, we knew that at some point someone might give us a bit of trouble, so we figured we'd get rid of the body altogether, open a portal to another world after Shub-niggurath has come, and get rid of him. A little too clever for you. Suddenly the car stops, and you hear Edward get out of the driver's seat. As your mind fades, you can feel your hands begin to twitch as if controlled by someone else, and Edward pulls you out, forcing you to stand. You can hear people talking around you, familiar voices, Roland's and Edward's and your own. What you learned in the dream world, what Jarrett told you, the host is the only one that can kill Shub-Niggurath, speaks true to you. And the last bit of yourself that lies inside smiles. As clever as Antoine and Edward thought they were, they didn't realize that in doing this, they would be killing the only version of this creature. And as you march through the woods, you feel the crunch of leaves and crunch of the grass underneath your shoes. You can hear Roland give his speech, the speech he had given before, and you can hear someone step behind you, beginning to speak. Your eyes turn black, and you can hear the cock of the shotgun behind your head, and you know, behind you stands you. The only way to defeat the creature is for the host to kill the host. And the last thing you think is how your choice in the woods all those days ago sealed your fate, but also the fate of Shub-Niggurath. And with no regrets in your mind, you hear the shotgun fire. As with most things, the Arkham Gazette's prediction of the Great Heat Wave of 1921 was wrong, and the hottest summer to ever reach the city arrived 2 weeks early in August. The black-painted streets of Arkham burned and cracked under the unforgiving sun, and anyone caught in bare feet would be yelping in pain at the slightest touch of the sidewalk. During the afternoon hours, the sun was so hot that the tar between the sidewalks would become soft and malleable, enough for the children to pick them out and chew them like gum. It is a summer of joy and understanding, where the humid air reminds you that winter is only a few short months away. Henry, after the passing of Emily's mother, you've become a full-time father, making lunches, driving her to school, and working as a line worker during the day to provide income for your daughter. You've become an extraordinary father in the way you handle her, and remind yourself daily how lucky you are to have such an amazing daughter. Jarrett, the police, coming to remove you from the home of your abusive grandfather, set you on a path of justice. Now, as a junior detective with the Arkham Police Force, you sketch criminals based on the victims' descriptions, and you look to find and help other victims of abuse. And Frank, you still enjoy working with trains. However, lately you've been focusing on a small model train set as a toy, since you and your wife are expecting your first child. Oftentimes you're so excited to see her that you wait until she arrives. At the kitchen table sometimes, before she comes home, you sit and wait, looking at the door to your apartment, staring at the wood, the cracks, the long wooden lines running up and down from the door, staring, staring, staring. Thank you so much. This has been Call of Cthulhu. It has been a fantastic time doing this for you guys. I'm sure there are a lot of questions and a lot of fun stuff to be had and answered. So what I want to do first off, before we jump over to our other video, which is going to be a question and answer period, right at 10 o'clock, I'm very happy about that, is I just want to do a sincere and heartfelt thank you. First off, I want to thank Michael, I want to thank Justin, and I want to thank my good buddies, Chris, for being such great characters, bringing these characters to life and making them really emotional and interesting characters. So thank you guys. Secondly, and most importantly, I want to thank you, all of you people in the community who have watched and supported and helped and theorized and solved and figured out all these enigmas. Thank you guys so much. It has been a blast doing this. We have all had a fantastic time. Thank yous are over, but we are going to jump right over to the Q&A period to answer any questions you might.
No. Thank yous are not over, Chris.
Oh no!
Yeah, we need to definitely thank our keeper, who has laid before us a truly remarkable story that we were able to be part of. I know the twists and turns really, not just in this last episode, which blew our mind, but it happened throughout, basically from episode 1 to 10, has been amazing, and the story arc has been amazing. So I think I speak for everybody in the community and for Frank and Jarrett or aka Mycl and Justin, saying thank you, Harlan, for doing such a great job.
Yes, thanks.
It
buddy.
was my pleasure, and you know, it's
You,
just.
sir, are going to get a special treat this weekend.
Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure doing it. Guys, we are going to start a video right now talking about this game for the last hour of the show.
First.
What's that?
I need to pee first.
You can pee. I'm going to get water. We're going to be back in 5 minutes, guys. Do not go anywhere because I want to see all of you there because we're going to have a nice, casual, fun conversation starting in 2 minutes or 5 minutes. Come right on back. We'll see you soon. Bye, guys. Oh. Yeah? Say your thing.
Oh, we'll see you around the table.
See you around the table. Bye, guys.